For problem number 13, we're given this p of x equals 2x to the third minus x squared minus 7x plus 6. And we're supposed to find the following values, right? We're supposed to evaluate these. So p of -1. It does not mean multiply p and -1, right? This kind of way of writing means I want to evaluate p, this function p, at the value of x equals -1. So I want to plug -1 in for all my x's. So I'm going to write -1 everywhere where I see an x. And I'm really careful to use parentheses to do that so that when I'm squaring it, I remember to take the opposite first and then square it. So I can actually just type that in my calculator exactly like I see it if I'm careful about using parentheses. So if I type it exactly the way I see it, it will do all of the work for me and I get 10. So p of -1 equals 10. When I put a -1 into this equation, I get out a 10. So you do that for this and for this. You put in a 3/2, put in a 5, and see what you get out. Now, given what you found in part A, which of the following x values is a 0? What we need to happen is we need to get a 0 out for the x value to be a 0, right? So I can definitely cross off -1. Now, you're looking for one of these to be 0, right? So right here, explain how your answer in part A helps you to answer this question. You'd say, when I evaluate for a certain value and I get a 0 out, I know I've found a 0 for the function. So that's what you would write. And then given the 0 you identified in part B. So I guess if I'm going to do this one, I should probably finish this. We should find the 0, right? So I'll go ahead and plug 3/2 in. So, and you know, you can get a fraction in your calculator a couple of ways, but again, if you just use parentheses, the division bar works really well. So if you just know how to use parentheses to group things properly, you can enter fractions in pretty easily. -7 times 3/2 and plus 6. Okay, so when I plug -3/2 in, p of 3/2 equals 0. So now I know this one is my 0, right? So you're still left to do p of 5 by yourself, but now I know this one's my 0. So given the 0 I identified in part B, write a corresponding factor of p of x. So if I know that my x equals 3/2, I need to have a factor that when I solve will give me this. So that's going to be 2x minus 3. And you can work backwards to see if that works. 2x minus 3, let's set it equal to 0 and see if we get 3/2 out. Plus 3 on both sides, divide by 2 on both sides, and sure enough, I get x equals 3/2. So 2x minus 3 is the corresponding factor for p of x.